Hello students, today we are going to learn Unit 2 Humor. Life is a beautiful, magnificent thing, even to a jellyfish, said by Charlie Chaplin. Chapter title: The Never Never Nest by Cedric Mount. Now about the author. Cedric Mount is a considerably distinguished playwright of his age. His one-act plays are easy to perform, satirical, witty, and insightful. These one-act plays expose the charms of contemporary society, besides delicately admonishing the guilty. So we see here Cedric Mount is a perfect playwright of his age. He wrote many plays, dramas that were easy to perform, there and satirical meaning it has, and witty. It was a humor, full of humor and insightful. Okay, and it was directly connected with the daily life of a common man, society. So this chapter is one act play. It means a drama that consists of only one act. You see here is a stage play. The phrase never never nest means the hire purchase system, a purchasing system in which the buyer pays the amount of in installment. Nest means a house here in this play. So in this chapter we are going to have one drama, one act based on the British middle class family. Okay, and here the drama, it points out the hire purchase system in which a person pays only a little amount as installment to buy any product. And nest here means house in this play. Satirical meaning: anything bought on the hire purchase system never actually becomes the buyer's until a huge amount is paid off. It means a buyer, a person has to pay the full amount of a material item, okay? Then only that material is his own. For example, take a house. A person has to pay the full amount of the house. But if the person is paying in installment, the house is not yet his. He is not the owner of the house. Okay, that is, never actually becomes the buyer until a huge amount is paid off, full amount is paid off. It is on hire, on installment, hire purchase system. Now let's see the character. As I told you, this drama highlights middle class British family. Jack and Jill were a young married couple who had a small baby. Jill was a housewife. Jack and Jill had purchased a villa. Villa means here house in New Hampstead, London, England. A car, furniture, a radiogram, a piano, and a refrigerator. So the main character is Jack and Jill. They were beautiful young married couple, British couple. This drama is based on the British family in London, England, New Hampstead, and they had a villa house on installment, a car, furniture, a radiogram, a piano, and a refrigerator also on installment. payment. Next character, Aunt Jane. Aunt Jane is a relative of Jack and Jill. She visited their new house. She believes that one should not owe money to anyone in life. She believed that one should spend less than what he earned. Aunt Jane, she was very practical woman, okay, and she believed that person should spend less as compared to what he or she earns. Okay, expenditure should be less than what you are earning from your salary, from your wages in your daily life. Next character, Nurse and Dr. Martin. Nurse looking after their infant baby, who were their Jack and Jill married couple. Dr. Martin, from whom they had purchased their own baby in installment. So you see here satirical meaning that the Jack and Jill, they were so used in having the material things on installment that they even purchased their own baby child in installment from Dr. Martin. Now here our drama begins. Opening scene, the curtain rises up. As the curtain rises, we see the scene over here. The launch of Jack and Jill Villa at New Hampstead. The essential furniture consists of a table on which are writing material and 2 chairs. As the curtain rises, the lounge is empty, but Jack and Jill come in immediately, followed by Aunt Jane. As the curtain rises, our drama starts, and the first scene is the lounge. Lounge is a common public place to sit and talk, to have a tea and snacks for family members. Okay, so the lounge of Jack and Jill new villa at New Hampstead. Now it has a furniture consists of a table, 2 chairs, and the lounge is empty, but Jack and Jill come in immediately, followed by Aunt Jane. You see here, Aunt Jane, Jack and Jill. So the conversation begins between 3 characters, Aunt Jane, Jack and Jill. You see in the picture the lounge. Jill. And this is the lounge. Aunt Jane, charming, charming. Such a cozy little room and such pretty furniture. Jack and Jill, they were showing Aunt Jane their new house, new villa, the rooms. Aunt Jane appreciated the new house. Charming, charming. Such a cozy little rooms and a pretty furniture. Jack, modestly, we like it, you know. Handy place to sit in and listen to the radiogram. Today in the modern world, modern time, we are having the internet, mobiles, we are having our TVs, we go to mall, alright? But that time, family used to have radios, radiogram. Okay, they used to listen music, they used to enjoy radio, the news, whatever, the verbal dramas. So radiogram was the symbol of sophistication, richness in the family of that time. Aunt Jane, oh, have you a radiogram as well as a car and a piano? Jack, why? Of course, Aunt Jane. You simply must have a radio set nowadays. So Aunt Jane, she is very curious to know you're having the radio, car and piano also. Jack said, "Of course, Aunt Jane, we have it. And nowadays, radio is very common. We can have radio from anywhere else." Jill, "And it's so nice for me when Jack away at business. I even make it move into the kitchen so that I can listen it while I cook." Jack, "Sit down, Aunt Jane. You must be tired, and we have shown you everything now." Jill, "What do you think of our little nest, Aunt Jane?" Jill is telling the aunt that the radio is so handy that she can carry to any room, even the kitchen, while she is making the food, dinner, lunch, anything, cooking. And the Jack is requesting the aunt to please take your seat. "Sit down, aunt. You must be tired. And we have shown you our new house, every room, everything we have." So Jill is asking, "Aunt Jane, how is our house? What do you think about it?" Here the nest means house. Aunt Jane, "I think it's wonderful, my dear. The furniture and the car and the piano and the refrigerator and the radio. What's it? It's a wonderful, really wonderful." So, at that time, if a family is having this household item, it means the family is quite rich. They are of good financial condition. Okay, so Aunt Jane, she is quite impressed by their richness. Show off. Jack, "And we owe it all to you." Aunt Jane, "Yes, Jack, that's what's worrying me." Jack, "Worrying you, Aunt Jane?" Now the Aunt Jane is quite worried from where they had the money to buy all these expensive household items. From where they got the money to set up the new villa, okay, and they had the furniture, car, piano, refrigerator, radio. So she's quite worried from where they got the money for that. Aunt Jane, "Yes, that check I gave you for your wedding present, it was only £200, wasn't it? I didn't put 2,000 by mistake." Jill, "Why no, Aunt Jane. What on earth made you think like that?" So, Aunt Jane is thinking that by mistake she had given £2,000 check as a wedding present to Jill and Jack instead of £200. Okay? Jill is refusing. No, denied. She denied. "No, Aunt Jane, you are wrong. You have not paid us £2,000 check as a present." Aunt Jane, relieved. "Well, that's all right, but I still don't altogether understand. This house, it's very lovely, but doesn't it cost a great deal for rent?" Jack, "Rent? Oh no, we don't pay rent." But natural, Aunt Jane was very curious from where they got the money, from how they are managing the house, from where they are purchasing an expensive household item. So now she is trying to ask that how much the house rent cost. Okay, because it's a very lovely villa house. So tell me about the rent, how much it cost for you to pay. Aunt Jane, But Jack, if you don't pay rent, you will get turned out into the street, and that would never do. You have Jill and a baby to think of now, you know. Aunt Jane is very afraid that if Jack will not pay the rent properly, the small family of Jack, Jill, and small baby, they will be thrown out into the street. Okay, Jack. No, no, Aunt Jane, you misunderstood me. We don't pay rent because the house is ours. Aunt Jane. Yours? Jill. Why, yes, you just pay £10 and it's yours. Jack is clarifying, Aunt Jane, we don't pay rent. This house is us. We are the owner of this house. Shocking. Jane saying, yours? Jill. Yes, Aunt Jane. Why not? We have to just pay £10 and it's yours. It's our house. Jack. You see, Aunt Jane, we realized how uneconomic it is to go on paying rent year after year when you can buy and enjoy a house of your own for £10 and a few quarterly payment of course. Why be Mr. Tenant when you can be Mr. Owner? Jack is saying, why should I pay the rent and become Mr. Tenant when I can manage the installment of £10 and become the owner of the house? Clear now, student? Aunt Jane. I see, yes. There's something in that. Even so, you must be getting on very well to keep up a place like this. Aunt Jane is now asking about Jack's salary, income, that he is paying £10 as installment for the house. So you must be earning very good salary. Okay? Jill. Oh, he is, Aunt Jane. Why, only last year he had a 5 shilling rise. Didn't you, Jack? Modestly, Jack. Of course, that was nothing really. I am expecting 10 this Christmas. Aunt Jane. Suddenly, Jack, I have just thought of something. That car, is it yours? Jill is informing the elder person, Aunt Jane, that Jack has a salary rise of 5 shilling and Jack is expecting 10 more before Christmas. Now Aunt Jane saw a car standing outside the villa house. So she is asking, the car is yours? Jill, of course it's ours. Aunt Jane, all yours? Jack, well, no, exactly all. Well, no, not exactly all. Aunt Jane, how much of it? Jill, oh, I should say the steering wheel and one of the tires and about 2 cylinders. But don't you see that wonderful thing about it? Aunt Jane, I don't see anything wonderful about it. So children, now you came to know that the car is also on installment. So they are also paying the installment payment for the car. Up till now they were paying installment for the house, £10. Now the car also they are paying for installment. The car was not exactly completely theirs. Okay, only the steering wheel and one of the tire and the 2 cylinders were of Jack's and the rest car on installment. So Aunt Jane, she is not happy. I don't see anything wonderful about it. Jill. But there is Aunt Jane. You see, although we could never buy a car outright, we can enjoy all the pleasure of motoring for a mere £5 down. Jill is clarifying that we cannot afford a new car to purchase from the showroom. We can only afford to pay the installment of £5 to have the car on installment. Okay, Aunt Jane. And the rest by easy installment, I suppose. Jill, exactly. Aunt Jane, exactly. And what about the radio? Was it? So Aunt Jane was quite convinced that it is easy to pay the installment. Jill said, yes, very easy to pay installment. Now Aunt Jane, she saw the radio also. Now she is inquiring about the radio. What about the radio? Well, that's the. And the piano? Well, of course. And the furniture? I am afraid so, Aunt Jane. I suppose all you own is this leg. She points to one. Now we came to know first the house, then the car, the radio, piano, and the furniture. Everything was on installment. Correct? Jack and Jill, they couldn't pay the full amount to buy it from the shop, so they had installment to pay for all this. I repeat, first the house for £10, then the car £5, now the radio, piano and the furniture, everything is on installment. Jill, well, no, as a matter of fact, it's that one. She points to another, Aunt Jane, and the rest belongs to Mr. Sage, I suppose. Jill, yes. Aunt Jane, well, I am not going to sit on Mr. Sage part for anyone. She stands up. Now tell me, how much do all this installment come to? From this paragraph, we had an idea that even the furniture belongs to Mr. Sage and it was also on installment. So Aunt Jane refused to sit on installment payment furniture that is on installment. She just stood up. She stands up. Now she is asking, how much do all the installment come to? Total expense, installment expense. She is inquiring from Jill and Jack. Jack, well, actually, he takes out his pocket book and consults it. Actually, to £7 8 and 8 pence a week. Aunt Jane, good heavens, and how much do you earn? Jack, as a matter of fact, that is £6 a week. So here we come to know that the Jack total installment expense is £7 8 and 8 pence a week. Pound is the currency of Britain, England. Okay. And Jack, the actual salary income is £6 a week, and his installment expense is £7 8 and 8 pence a week. So Aunt Jane is quite surprised. Good heavens! And how much do you earn? Aunt Jane, but that's absurd. How can you pay £7 8 and 8 pence out of £6 a week? It's a practical question, children. When you are earning less, how can you make a expenditure more in your daily life? If a Jack is earning only a £6 a week, so how can he pay £7 8 and 8 pence as installment of all the household items a week? It's a common question, common sense for children. Jack: oh, that's easy. You see, all you have to do is to borrow the rest of the money for the payment from the Thrift and Providence Trust Corporation. Now Jack has a plan to pay the installment. He is going to have a money borrowed from Thrift and Providence Trust Corporation. He is going to borrow a money loan to pay the installment. I repeat, he is going to have a loan borrowed from Thrift and Providence Trust Corporation to pay his installment, which is much higher as compared to the £6 he is earning a week. Jill: they are only too glad to loan you any amount you like on note of hand alone. Aunt Jane: and how do you propose to pay that back? Jack: oh, that's easy too. You just pay it back in installment. You see her installment over installment over installment and over installment. Because Jack is earning very less, and Jack and Jill, they belong to middle class family, but their wishes is too much as compared to what is the income of the family. Okay, so Jill is saying it is very easy to have a loan from corporation, and we can pay the loan also in installment afterwards, after paying the installment of household items. Now the Aunt Jane. Installments. She claps her hand to her forehead and sinks back weakly into the chair, then realizes that she is sitting on Mr. Sage's and leaps to her feet again with a little shriek. Aunt Jane, is anything that matter? Would you like to lie down? So Aunt Jane, she was quite very shocked about the hire purchase system Jill and Jack were following to build up their family, their life. First, they have the house on installment of £10. Now the car on installment £5. Even the radio, the piano, and the furniture on installment. And to pay all this installment, they are taking loan from the corporation to pay the installment. So Aunt Jane is saying installments and installment, and she just hold her head, her forehead, and sinks back weakly into the chair. Then realizes that she is sitting on Mr. Sage's. She just stood up. Jack is inquiring, what's the matter, Aunt Jane? Would you like to lie down, take rest? Aunt Jane: lie down? Do you suppose I am going to trust myself in a bed that belongs to Mr. Sage or Mark and Spencer or somebody No, I am going home. Aunt Jane didn't want to even touch the furniture that belongs to somebody else of some name like Sage, Marks or Spencer. She just want to go home now. Jill. Oh, must you really go? Aunt Jane, I think I'd better. Jill is trying to say, please don't go, stay here. And Aunt is saying, I'm sure I want to go home now. Jack, I'll drive you to the station. Aunt Jane, what? Travel in a car that has only one tire and two thin grummies? No, thank you. I'll take the bus. As a good person, Jack, he wants to drive Aunt Jane to the station in a car. Aunt Jane refused him totally. I don't want to sit in a car that belongs to somebody else. It is not yours. Thank you. I will take a bus. Jack, well, of course, if you feel like that about it. Aunt Jane, relucting a smile. Now, I'm sorry if I sounded rude, but really, I am shocked to find the way you are living. I have never owned a penny in my life, cash down. That's my motto, and I want you to do the same. She opens her handbag. Now look, here a little check I was meaning to give you anyway. She handed it to Jill. Suppose you take it and pay off one your bills so that you can so that you can say one thing at least nearly belongs to you. You see in this paragraph, Jack was quite hurt within. Aunt Jane, she is apologizing a bit. I'm sorry if I have sounded rude, if I am rude in behavior, but I am really shocked to see everything in installment in your home. Okay? And what she said, that she never owned a penny in her life, cash down. It is her motto, and she is trying to convince the two young married British couple to reduce your expense, the installment expense. She opens her handbag and she gave Jill another check gift to the newly married couple to pay off any one installment and have at least any one thing in their name, be a owner of any one thing. Jill, awkwardly, thank you, Aunt Jane. It's very nice of you. Aunt Jane, patting her arm. There now, I must be going. Jack, I'll see you to the bus anyway. Jill, goodbye, Aunt Jane, and thanks so much for the present. Now, before leaving the house, Aunt Jane gave them the check of £10 as a gift. Jill thanking Aunt Jane. Thanking Aunt Jane. It's very nice of you. Aunt Jane pampering, patting Jill. So I must go now. I'm leaving now. Jack, I'll drop you to the bus. Jill, goodbye, Aunt Jane. Thank you so much for the present, for the check. Okay, now you understood. Now the Aunt Jane is leaving the house. Alright? Aunt Jane. kissing her. Who? Jill. Goodbye, my dear. She and Jack go out. Jill looked at the check and exclaimed, £10? Now we see here, now the Aunt Jane is now going out. Goodbye, my dear. And Aunt Jane and the Jack, they go out of the house. Jill took the check, she opened the check and it was of £10. Then she hurries to the table, addresses an envelope, endorses the check and slips it inside the bill, which she takes from the bag and seals the envelope. Then she rings the bell. In a moment, the nurse comes in with the baby in her arm. Now the Jill, she took the check of £5 and she slips it inside the envelope and sealed the check with a bill, and she rings the bell to call the nurse from inside. Nurse comes in with the baby in her arm. Now here another character enters into the stage, a nurse with a baby in her arm. Jill, oh nurse, I want you to run and post this for me. I'll look after the baby while you have gone. Now the Jill is saying to the nurse, please help me and post this envelope. By the time you will be back, I will look after the baby. Okay? You see in the picture, the Jill is saying, please go and post the envelope. By the time you will come back, I will look after the baby. Nurse replied, certainly, madam. She hands the baby to Jill, takes the letter and goes. Here we see the nurse takes the envelope from Jill and goes out of the house. I repeat, Jill hands the baby to Jill. The nurse hands the baby to Jill. Nurse takes the letter and the nurse goes away out of the house. Now, a second later, Jack comes in again. Now again the Jack comes into the stage. We are playing a drama on stage. It's not happening actually. It's a stage play, remember. Okay? Jack, well, she is gone. What a tatter. Still, she did leave us a bit on account. How much was it? Now Jack is quite relieved that the Aunt Jane, she is gone now. And let's see how much amount she gave us as a check, as a present before leaving the house. £10, Jill replied. Jack, with a whistle, that means surprise, with happiness. Wow, that's great. We can pay off the next 2 months on the car with that. Jill, I am afraid we can't, Jack. Why ever not? As soon as the Jack came to know about £10, Jack, so he had a plan to pay the installment on car of 2 months, installment on car. Jill refused. No, we cannot. Ask the Jack, why not? Jill, you see, I have already sent it off for something else. Nurse has just gone to post it. Jack, well, that's all right. Who have you sent it to? Dr. Martin, replied Jill. Jack, Dr. Martin, what on earth possessed you to do that? So Jill is telling the Jack that she had already sent the nurse with the envelope to post. Nurse had just gone to post it, the envelope. Okay, the 10 pounds. Jack said, it's okay, it's alright. To whom? You have sent. Who have you sent it to? Okay. Dr. Martin. Jack was not happy that his wife, Jill, without asking, without consulting him, she just sent the 10 pounds to Dr. Martin, and he was quite unhappy. On what on earth possessed you to do that? You see here, Jill, nearly in tears. There, now you are going to be angry with me. Jack, I am not angry, but why waste good money on the doctor? Doctors don't expect to get paid anyway. Jill, sobbing a little, but you don't understand. Now the Jill is crying. You see here in the picture, now Jill is crying. Jill nearly in tears. Then now you are going to be angry with me. She's afraid now Jack is going to scold her very badly. That's why she's crying now. Jack, I am not angry, but why did you waste a good check of 10 pounds to give to Dr. Martin? Dr. Martin. Okay, Jill, crying. That means sobbing a little, crying. But you don't understand. Jack, understand what? Jill, why? Just one more installment and baby's really ours. Jill told Jack, her husband, only one installment was left, and that I have sent through envelope 10 pounds, and now the baby belongs to us. They have paid the last installment, and now the baby infant belongs to them. Now you have understood the drama. Even the baby was on installment. The full drama is based on the hire purchase system, that is purchasing everything on installment. This middle class British modern family couple, married couple, they purchase from the shop even the house on installment of 10 pounds, even the car on installment, even the radio, the piano, the furniture on installment payment. And what a surprise, even their own child, the baby, they purchased from Dr. Martin on installment. So here our drama stage play ends. Now we see the last scene on the stage, that the she is holding out the infant a little pathetically as we black out. Black out means the stage curtain down. You see in the picture, Jill is holding the child, crying. and the curtain went down as we black out. Here our stage play ends and the curtain is down already. She is holding, who is she? Jill. She is holding out the infant, the baby, and a little pathetically as we black out, curtain is down. So this drama has some moral lessons teaching that we should have a perfect budget for our family expense. Make a budget for our expense and income, how much you are earning in the family, what is your earning, okay, as a salary, and how much you are going to spend, your expense. Your expense should be always less than how much you earn in the family. Clear now? You see here another moral teaching, a house. It means always have a house of your own. Try not to pay the installment. Conclusion. The play criticized the new trend of young middle class couple who have the habit of buying many household items and house in easy installment. As I told you, avoid installment. This play criticizes, it says against a new modern trend nowadays of young middle class couples. Here in the stage play we are having the British couple. People are not very rich to buy a new house. They are middle class couples, young married couples, and who have a habit of buying everything, many household items, houses in easy installment. If you can afford, it's okay, but if you cannot afford, so reduce your expense. It means that the playwright feels that such couples would make a nest house easily, but they will never settle happily. The playwright, that is the author, Cedric Mount, he feels that couples can have the house on rent. They can have house on installment easily, but they will never become Mr. Owner so easily. They will never settle happily because of the expense, too much expense on their head. The double negative in the title, that is never nest, never, the phrase also emphasize the possibility of home. People are so much towards the modern lifestyle, modern lifestyle, that they spend too much of money to have it all on installment, and that makes them impossible to manage their budget in positive way. So here we are having another moral lesson, that is always try to save money. Have a habit of saving money for the future instead of spending beyond your earning. So with that, we end our chapter. Okay, and I hope you have understood this drama. It's a one act play in easy language which I have tried to make you understand, and this will definitely going to help you out to do your class work exercise in your class copy. So student, good luck with your studies, and hope you have enjoyed this one act play drama. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye bye.